Okay, let me share my screen. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today I want to have a pitch of how branding shapes modern business success. And just wondering, all of you have been cutting your hair monthly, quarterly. Question: how much have you paid for in each session? 10 ringgits, 35 ringgits, 70 ringgits, or 150 ringgits? And of course, why would you pay the extra 140 ringgits while it might only cost you 10 ringgits for a simple haircut? Well, I believe some of you may have already have the answer in your heart. I will explain in the midway of my presentation. And the another question that was often raised, no matter you are in the sales department, marketing department, sell me this pen, the boss asked. And there are always some perfect answer that your boss demand you for, or your managers wanted you to ML. But what is the logic behind this scene? This whole scene I will explain in the end of my during the end of my presentation. Alright. So today let's get back to the title, The Art and Science of Branding Management. And what are the brands that you have connected with in your life? And all these symbols are just as familiar as you could reach out in the market right now, correct? Nike is not my favorite brand, definitely. If I'm not mistaken, there was when I was comparing the Skechers, Adidas. Skechers are like these few years when my sister bought it and then she just introduced me, which is yes, quite reliable and good. And of course, maybe I just being too unlucky to have two Nikes which broken up. Maybe it's a fake one during my university life in Taiwan. And definitely, the brand is definitely a symbol, just simple connection for you to reach there. Another one, Starbucks. Just imagine the aromas that you first step onto the into the coffee shop, correct? And the jazz music, the soothing musics that make you comfortable with, the cozy furnitures just make you feel like not only luxury but the feelings of being of well-being, right? Compared to what the other brands provide in, of course, locally saying like you look at juice. Few years back then, juice coffee was like nobody. When they provide me with the free coffee with 1 ringgit or what, I would definitely like, well, it's just a coffee. But come to this day, you can see its growth. How did it become a value added coffee for you? So you have to figure it out yourself. Next one, iPhone. I am an iPhone user for just 1 year and more, just because my sister handed me this iPhone. Before this, I was using a Redmi Note 10, and after I broke my Redmi Note 10, I used the iPhone. It was rather uneasy for me to have this change, but yeah, so far I'm already quite used to the iPhone apps and everything. When I moved back to the entry level Vivo, which my mother passed me, just put another SIM card to activate it. It just feel uh, unsmooth. The pixelations, the the functions just lagging. So what the stories that I want to brought to you is that I hope you all could value the wants and needs in your life to balance it out, which you could identify which is actually overpriced in terms of your financial abilities. And for next one, let me come to what defines a brand, which of course you want to reduce efforts for customer, but like how? Definitely you want something that reachable. When one thing that comes to my mind when I was working in my previous company, I was managing the brand for my key distributor in foreign countries. One thing that I realized that the thing must be reachable in most places so that not only people can see it, but people need to reach that out at what to reach your products. Definitely it's something very important because if your let's say today your products are not in the KK mark or 99 mark, maybe in Indian mark, the no name Bangladesh mark, I don't think it would be useful for you to promote your brands or make the customer wanting this kind of these products. For efficacy, it just reminded me one of my previous teammate who was very executors. As you can see on the, I would rate her as the 10 one. She was the insurance insurance agent. As you know, insurance agent is kind of B2C. And in our industry, her ways of executing the sales approach are more into efficiency because she will try everything she could, but are these really effective? Well, for those who have experience in this industry, with capex and also relationship based, like one of my sales manager, it was visionaries, and you can see how it differentiate between these two this chart because when you execute it but without the visions or the like just inside the dot that you want to point out, just waste of time for most of the times. The next one is of course experience, just like my first slide mentioned about the haircut. Experience are something that add value. Today, the imagine the barber just give you the best experience by providing you, oh, you look so much better with this style. Let me introduce you this one. Do you think this looks makes you better? So in between each cut, She takes care of your feelings, emotion, connection with your emotion are just so intact that you felt you serve, you are valued. So when we come back to what Nespresso did, they try to make them out of the category of normal coffee. Thus, the tagline luxury experience beyond just coffee. Right. Yeah, example. So creating emotional connection with customer are so important in not only marketing strategies or the taglines, but of course when you want to have the relationship, uh, building a good relationship with your customers, you must have some mutual emotions or the exchange of the emotions. Thus, it's so important to touch on the customer journey. How do they start trying and how do they start using and how they ditch the brand or how do they move on. This a lot of the brands already start doing the authenticity authentic stories combined with the products. When they sell the products, there must be some stories behind it, like case study shown here. When they when they have the campaign "You Never Ride Alone," it foster the community. Another one, when we try to start using a product, we want reliability, because I'm not sure how to say, but yeah, imagine like my previous sales manager when we go to the food store and just at randomly in some of the stores we tend to stick to the stores that we usually go, right. And you see when the inflations come, some of the stores start to reduce their meats or the soup just get not tastier like before. As a customer, we definitely detect those reduction, and there is the brand pretty reduced, causing a dispose the brand. Thus, experience, of course. I want to highlight how important is the experience are. Positive experience reinforce the use of the products, the service, correct? So it definitely makes the loyalty there. Then the next one about the core of the branding. One of the things that I felt really amazing in Taiwan was the moment that I walked into the 7-Eleven. In Taiwan, every street just like buy one free one 7-Eleven. Buy there is a street, there will be a 7-Eleven. So abundant over there, and you will never forget their tones up about the welcome. Thus, it's Huang Ying Guang Ling. The tones just went up a little, and you just felt the positive energy of it. It's truly like welcoming. It's drawing you into the shop, and you're just happy to spend your time, your money there, and the lightning, the atmosphere are just good. That's the what provide this energy. Correct. Internal employees. So for those employees, when they put their patience, show their happiness, you could definitely feel them and having the cheerful service from them. Like one of the example below here. And when they step together, with the boss, employees to the common goals. It just make the things, the revenues stack up a day by another day. All right, the next one, let us talk about challenges, because not only branding is about things that are good, but a lot of the things that came to corrode or reduce the brand presence, not only the for the what internet provide us to freely comment about things, and then also you cannot use the same strategy for different places, right? Because all the local cultures may have some difference. Just imagine the snow black, no, sorry, Snow White. Thus, of course, when but you see in contrary, when we see the Dove campaign, the global campaign, it was already mentioned the real beauty with different color tones, the dark color tones, the white color tones. It just adapt the locally for all the beauty standards. And for the next one, how do we measure brand? There are a lot of different metrics. These are only just uh, several key metrics. But does it always mean that customer satisfactory, um, having a higher customer satisfaction, a better companies or the better brand health? No. Why would I say so? Because just imagine the Grab food is solely among the service of the riders. There are a lot of conditions, and you may have low marks or high marks, but you still go for Grab food, correct? No marks, you still pick them. It just an incident, or yeah, it won't really affect the brand health. Then the next one, of course, employee engagement. Of course, this if the lower interaction it is, definitely it will be lower. I will explain in the next slide. The next one, how do you associate the brands in customers' mind? Of course, there are some like perception map as shown here. This is one of the like for food one. Then um, what kind of the perception of customer you want to map on it, and it becomes a symbol of your brand health, right? Like how well it the sales go. In one of the quite uh, surprising thing is the war between Coca-Cola and Pepsi was that the sugar level actually driving the sales force, making their brand health maybe is so correlated with the sugar level. All right, just now I mentioned about the how does the internal compare with these between the high level one and the low level one. You see a lot of things improve. You have the 75 percentile versus the 25 percentile, and you have great revenue growth, net income growth, and higher productivity. Then customer is more advocated, right? It's really improved. It definitely improved a lot in operational level, which reduce the cost and loyalty. Correct. So today, every brands try to be relevant because it changed so fast. Like the brand health just now I mentioned, for the key indicators or the metrics that you choose, maybe not relevant in the next day or the next month. So we need to adapt by uh, by changing it constantly and put into discussion, connect everyone's to make it a successful brand. Correct. Thus, like the previous slide mentioned, moving from selling products is not the old days like, okay, you want to put one thing to another's hand, but you want to inspire, use the connection to inspire, put the correct products onto the rightful hands, which making the change um, so meaningful. And by the end of the slide, before I end my slide presentation, how do you sell this pen? Remember? All right. The logic behind this was to test the salesperson or the marketers. Have you already understand the market demand? Okay, let's say today, the one you want to sell, how many pens does he or she own, and does he or she need your pen? Why would he want your pen with higher price or lower price? You have to figure it out. So all of these are the question banks that you have to put into your mind when selling a pen. I would like to read out this last quote. Branding is the heartbeat of every organization, and let's make it with purpose, patience, and promise. Thank you, everyone.